This is the 6.2 independent practice. This is page 159. This video will be the top half of the page, numbers 9 through 12. So let's go ahead and check it out. Taryn and Alistair both mow lawns. Each charges a flat fee to mow a lawn. The table shows the number of lawns mowed in the past week, the time spent mowing lawns, and the money earned. Number 9 reads, how much does Taryn charge to mow a lawn? So let's go find Taryn. And in order to figure out how much she makes to mow a lawn, we need to take the money and divide by the number of lawns. She made $112.50. We're going to divide that by 9. So $112.50 divided by 9. 9 goes into 11 once. 9 goes into 22 twice. 9 goes into 45 5 times. 5 times 9 is 45. And if you subtract that, I'm out of space, but if you subtract that, you'll get 0, and then you'll bring this 0 down, and 9 goes into 0 0 times. My decimal comes straight up. How much money is that? It's $12.50. Number 2. How much does Alistair charge to mow a lawn? I might change my whiteboard to look like this. I think I'll have enough space. How much does Alistair charge to mow a lawn? It's going to be the same thing with Alistair, except for that his numbers are different. He made $122.50 and he mowed 7 lawns. So I'm going to do $122.50 divided by 7. And I didn't write this answer very good. It's $12.50. Let me rewrite that. It's $12.50. Remember, you can use a calculator to check your answer. You could multiply for Taryn. She multiplied, take your quotient, 1250, multiply that by 9, and you should get your divisor. 112.5 is the same as 112.50. So now on to Alistair. Alistair made $122.50, and that was over 7 lawns, so we're going to do $122.50 divided by 7. I've got that up here. 7 goes into 12 once. 7 goes into 52 7 times. 7 goes into 35 5 times. And 7 goes into 0 0 times. Decimal comes straight up. The answer is $17.50. Alistair charges $17.50 to mow a lawn. You could check that on a calculator by saying $17.50 times 7 lawns is $122.50, which is how much he made. Alright, the next question reads, who earns more per hour, Taryn or Alistair? Now this one, really the proper way to solve it is divide, but we're dividing different things here. We have to compare Taryn and Alistair, but it says who earns more per hour. Per hour means that you would take the amount of money that they earned and then divide by not the number of lawns, but the number of hours. So what you're going to do for Taryn is divide $112.50 divided by 7.5, and for Alistair you can divide $122.50 divided by 5. And I'll try to make enough space here. And if you, before I get to the end of this, recognize that you wouldn't actually have to do all this division and could explain that, that would be fine, but I'm going to go ahead and do the division because I feel like I need to help you with that. So Taryn's going to be $112.50 divided by 7.5. And this is a nice review on dividing decimals. You need to move this decimal one place to the right, and you need to move this decimal one place to the right. And then you're going to do 75 goes in 112 once. You're going to subtract. You're going to borrow from this 1, making this 12 minus 5 is 7. And this would become a 0, and now this is 10 minus 7 is 3. 75 goes into 375 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2 is 35, plus 2 is 37, so it goes in evenly. 75 goes into 0 0 times. This decimal gets moved over to right here, and then it goes up. How much money is that? It's $15 per hour. So I just figured out Taryn. Taryn makes $15 an hour. Alistair made $122.50, which is more than Taryn, and he only worked 5 hours, which is less. So I just pointed out something really important. Alistair made more money and worked less hours. So what can we assume? Well, I'm going to go ahead and do the division anyway. 5 goes into 12 twice. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring down this 2. 5 goes into 22 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. And I'm just about done, actually. This division isn't really that hard. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 0, 0. 5 goes into 0, 0. Alistair makes $24.50 an hour. So if we go up to Taryn here, how much does Taryn make? I'm going to change color to draw your attention to it. Taryn makes $15 an hour. Alistair makes $24.50. Who makes more? Alistair. Now, if you drew the conclusion, dude, I really need to do all that division, you really didn't, and here's why. Alistair worked less hours and made more money. So when you do your division there, you're going to get a significantly larger amount. So anyway, keep that in mind when it asks you about who makes more money. The person who makes more money is the person who makes more but works less hours. All right, last question, number 12. If Taryn and Alistair want to earn an additional $735 each, how many hours will each need to spend mowing lawns? And explain. Well, we're going to need these numbers right here because they want to make another $735. And what we know about Taryn is that she makes $15 an hour. And what we know about Alistair is he makes $24.50 an hour. Well, how are we going to get up to $735? Well, Taryn's going to do $735 divided by her rate, which is 15. And Alistair's going to do $735 divided by his rate, which is $24.50. So what I need to do is just make a note of this, that Taryn, I'm going to do it way over off to the left here, Taryn makes $15 an hour, and Alistair makes $24.50 an hour. Now I'm going to clear my board, and I'm going to divide those numbers into 735 because they each want to make $735 more dollars. So 735 divided by 15. 15 goes into 73. 4 times only, almost 5, but 4 times only. 4 times 15 is 60. You subtract and you get 13, and you bring down this 5. And 15 goes into 135 9 times evenly. 9 times 15 is 135. So 49 is the number of hours that Taryn needs to work. So my answer here is going to be Taryn needs to work 49 more hours, or 49 hours. And it says explain, but if you show this work right here, this is Taryn, if you show this work, that's going to be an acceptable form of explaining. I need to make a little space though, so you've seen that, you can copy that down, or you can do that on your own. Now I need to do Alistair. Alistair is going to take up just a tiny bit of space because it's a slightly more complicated division problem. It's $735 divided by $24.50. Now to make it easy, I'm not going to do $24.50, I'm going to do 24.5. I'm going to move my decimal once to the right, which means I need to take and annex a decimal here and move it once to the right. Now I can divide. How many times does 245 go into 735? And I think it's only 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And 2 times 2 is 4. That doesn't make sense. I wonder if it was going to be 3. Let me check that. 245 times 3. I might be right. It might only be 2. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. And 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So it's actually going to be 3. I was going to be wrong about that. It's not going to be 2, it's going to be 3. It's going to be 3 exactly, I think. So I'm just going to rewrite this as 735 divided by 24.5. 24.50 could be written as 24.5. And then move your decimal once to the right, annex a decimal, move it once to the right. And now how many times does 245 go into 735? And I think it's 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So it's 735 minus 735 is 0. My decimal's over here. It's a reminder that 245 can't go into 0, so I have to put a 0 here. 0 times 245 is 245. Let's check it. I think I'll punch in the division problem. $735 divided by his rate, $24.50, is 30. It's a whole number. So Taryn needs to work 49 hours. Alistair needs to work 30 hours. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you at the bottom of this page what we're going to skip. We're done with this page. I'm going to show you that though. I want you to go to the bottom of your page, number 13, and we're going to skip this whole section. Now, if you want to try that problem, I have no problem with it. I'm just out of time on showing you instruction, and I don't want you to do this one. We're going to go ahead, though, to the next page and work on page 160 on the next video.